was showing that I was fixing my hair and everything, and I didn't even know I was live, but whatever. Probably it looked a little bit better than what it was. Hold on just a second. Okay, I got to get on Facebook because I was trying my very, very best to get on here. Let's see. Give me an opportunity to get on there, okay? I know y'all probably looking at me like, what in the world is she doing? Yeah. Like everybody else try to fix their hair and hope it look a little bit better than what it was before they got on there. So bear with me while I get on Facebook. So glad you had an opportunity to join me live on here because I keep getting these cameras be on. And but anyway, this is going to be our topic today. I am discussing emotionally, I call it fragmented, but it is emotional fitness that we need to be working on. And a lot of relationships that people have gotten themselves into are trauma based. And so I want to talk about that issue today before we get started. I want to share about our daily devotion I try to come with. And so I pray that you'll be blessed by it. Amen. And so give me a few minutes to get my camera right here. Okay. So you can see me a little bit better. I pray that my lighting is okay. It looked like when I plug my it's kind of dark to me or dim to me. When I plug it up, I've been having some problems getting on here too, incidentally. I think the enemy just so mad because I'm trying to make an impact here. He's just doing everything. So, but anyway, let's go live on Facebook. I see, got a little bit too much information right there. Okay, let's see. Okay, I think that's a little bit better so you don't see my fax machine and all that up there. Okay, let's get started. Go live on Facebook. Okay. Well, here we go. We are live on Facebook now. And I want to begin by saying thank you again for joining me. I am going to try my very best to end this session. Let me set my timer again to end this session in 20 minutes. I don't even want to say it because this don't happen that way. We're talking about emotional fitness today. We're talking about trauma-based relationships. So important that you stay connected with these sessions, especially you who are women ministry leaders, those who are in relationships. We're talking about women and girls. I'm gonna go over a couple of notes here today. I hope I try to set myself up here where it'll be a little bit more easier for me to see with my notes and stuff, but it ain't easy because it's not a lot of space here. I don't live in these big fine houses like a whole bunch of y'all. But anyway, I want to talk about this emotional fitness in just a few minutes. So, if you can, I'm asking you to please share these messages so that those women leaders or pastors who have ministries within their ministries, auxiliaries that are dealing with women and young girls, I pray that they would use these as some nuggets to help these women and young girls. Okay, so let's get to our message for today and our devotion, and it's coming from again, Jesus is calling. And it reads as follows: There is no place so desolate that you cannot find me there. When Hagar fled from her mistress Sarai into the wilderness, she thought she was utterly alone and forsaken. But Hagar encountered me in the desolate place. There she addressed me as the living one who sees me. Through that encounter with my presence, she gained courage to return to her mistress. No set of circumstances could ever isolate you from my loving presence. That is so powerful to know. Not only do I see you always, I see you as redeemed saints, gloriously radiant in my righteousness. This is why I take great delight in you and rejoice over you with singing. Those scripture references: Psalms 139, 7 through 10, Genesis 16, 7 through 14. If you have the book, you can go through and read it yourself. My God, I am just so moved by the message that I'm talking about today. Hey there, Hector, how are you? I pray you're doing okay. Thanks for joining me for just a moment there. Love you too. I want to talk about this issue in regards to emotional fitness. Now, many of us, if we think about the stats, When they're giving us these stats, trust me, these stats, they may not be 100, but they are giving us, uh, talking about the Bureau of Mental Health, okay, the Statistical Bureau that's giving us the stats on, the National Institute of Health, talking about mental health, particularly talking about what is really going on in the lives and the minds of the people. There are trauma-based relationships that many of us don't want to recognize that we are facing. And these trauma-based relationships has caused a lot of marriages and a lot of people who are even engaged to have problems before they either get to the altar. And so I want to share about this emotional fitness today, which is day 3 of my journey that I try to do every year that leads up to the day that I was almost killed on September the 6th. That is the reason why I'm doing these series of emotional fitness and emotional or mental health for women and young girls. Now, bros, I want to make sure you know I'm not here to pull you down or anything like that, because we need you just like women need each other. And I want to make sure you understand that a lot of the women and young girls who are going through challenges today have suffered a many things from men, but that does not mean that men are not worthy of honor or anything like that. But what these messages that I am doing for the Titus 2 movement, of the elder women to the young women and women, young women or girls who have been challenged in their lives, is to make sure that the thing that happened to me, the things that I went through, that we, sow those seeds so they won't go there. This is the purpose of the Titus 2 movement. And so I wanted to share this part, and want to make sure I give out that disclaimer to make sure you know that we not hate men. People always hear me say that I do love men, meaning that I love the male species. I am not against men. I'm not a man hater or a basher. I believe that man, like woman, was formed by the hands and the Spirit of God. So therefore, that we all are perfect in His sight. And so that means that we need to love one another and to learn forgiveness. And this is why we have these emotional fitness requirements for us to look at what are you doing to make your muscle of your emotions more leaner rather than fat, with a whole lot of emotional trauma that's causing relationships not to work and families to crumble and children to be in pain and regenerate the pain that we allowed them to suffer because of our mistakes. I hope that that gives me a good disclaimer. So let's go ahead and talk about the mental disorder part of the stats that I was trying to get into. And so today, what I want to share says that an estimated, now this is an older report, but I want to give you just what I believe, because I don't have that updated, but I'm just giving you an overview of what I believe is going on as far as stats is concerned. You can research that yourself. But an estimated, I believe, of 28% or more of Americans ages 18 and older, about 1 in 4 adults, suffer from a diagnosable mental disorder in a given year. That's very serious. And so the U.S. Census residential type of stats or census reports will help us to be able to understand that if you go to that site and get to really, really review. Now, women leaders and ministers, I want to talk about mood disorders in relation to emotional fitness. We all got emotions. They're all going to act out regardless, and that's what they're designed for, because God gave them to us. But I want to talk about the emotional disorders that really are piggybacking a whole lot of other things that a lot of us are going through. So then, Dr. Murphy, I noticed that you talk about these messages, but you're not giving us any scriptures. Well, I believe that everything that in regards to what I'm talking about, there is a scripture for it. Okay, I just gave you one, Psalms 139, that's talking about He's everywhere. He made us, He shaped us. We are perfect. I mean, we're beautifully and wonderfully made. You just need to make sure you understand that these messages that I'm talking about right now is very important for you to understand your emotional fitness. And so mood disorder. So Dr. Murphy, what is a mood disorder that could possibly causing me to be out of emotional shape? That's causing me to be emotionally disconnected. That's causing me to have trauma-based relationships. Well, mood disorders mean that this includes a lot of areas in our lives, such as bipolar. We talked about that yesterday. We talk about depressive disorder. We talk about fragmented soul, and many of the people in these populations that I just shared with you earlier on, they have a mood disorder. Okay, and so I wanted to share that part so you can know that we are not exempt. Not none of us. I'm not exempt. You're not exempt from having a mood disorder. All of us got something going on. Hey there, Norma. So glad you're there. Glad you got a chance to come in. And so I want y'all to share these messages. So please, so let's get into the issue of trauma-based relationships. Let's get into why a lot of marriages and a lot of relationships, even if your sister girlfriend, or even with your own daughter or your siblings, why those relationships don't work the way they need to. And the reason why I wanted to share these, I wanted to share it because we need to understand where those areas have been hitting us the most at. You remember I talked about shame-based identity yesterday in the fragmented soul realm? Well, today I want to talk about the emotional fitness realm. Hey there, Tammy, to make sure that we look at the emotional fitness part to talk about where am I in my emotional health. I want to give you three areas that we need to focus on first, and then I'm going to get into the part about how these trauma-based relationships has caused so many of us to be out of sync with what God is trying to show us and for us to be. And so there, we all have emotions. Remember, we all need to be accepted. We all need to make sure that we feel secure. We all need to make sure that we're loved, and all of that. But I want to talk about three of them that is causing so much bloodshed today, three of them that has caused so many relationships not to work today, three of them that constantly revisit us over and over again. Now, like I said, I'm trying to get on here at 6 a.m. or 6:30 a.m., but every time I get ready to talk about these messages, the enemy literally shuts my computer down. And I have to be praying it through and binding and loosing so it can get off of my computer. I mean, it just goes blank. And so I know it's the enemy because he don't want me to get on here and talk about these things. But I need you to be praying for my computer because the devil is crazy. It didn't start until I started these series. And so I know that it's God divine. So let's talk about these three areas that's causing so many to be in trauma-based relationships. Okay, these three areas, they drive our emotions, okay? Every day, we have to make a decision. Are we going to allow these to drive us into places that are not of God? Or drive us or shape our emotions to the point that we find ourselves arguing or being in I call it a fruitless conversation that before you know it, you're backbiting people or you're doing things that you didn't think you would do, like cheating on your spouse or, backstabbing your bestie. Or you find yourself just doing things you're like, what in the world? Or why did I do that? Well, these three emotions that keeps us out of the leanness, a whole lot of us fat on a whole lot of these three in some ways, and they're not really flowing the way they need to be. But these emotional areas or triggers that we don't recognize are three characteristics of hurts or trauma that has caused us to get out of sync with all three because they may not flow the way they need to, but they are God given. And we need to know how to process them. So these three drive us, okay? These three help us make decisions. And if you think about it on a daily basis, over 35 decisions are being processed out of our own minds. Trust me. We have to decide whether or not we want to get up. We have to decide whether or not if we want to really, really get along with the person on the job. We have to decide whether or not if we're going to drive fast today when normally we cruise. I know I do. Some days I'll be like, I'm just going to chill and drive slow. Then some days I'm like, I just want to get over here to where I want to get back because my emotions have gotten out of whack for some reason. But we need to think about what am I doing emotionally? What's driving me? What's making me decide? So these 35,000 decisions that are being calculated and guiding our emotions every day is causing us to be not only in this turmoil of, trauma-based relationship, but what about trauma-based behaviors? Okay, that we constantly are doing. Now, here's the three right here that drive us daily. And we got to really, really process them when we get up in the morning. For a while, I say, well, you even get up. I know I lay there and say, Daddy, help me, but But this is what I'm feeling right now. And so these are the three. We got to constantly assess our feelings. Number one, I hope you got a pen. You need to write this stuff down. 'Cause I'm giving you some information you need to be chewing on, so you can make sure that you start get some exercise emotionally, so you can become fit. Because right now, many of us are in a total mess. We are too fat with these areas that are not in the right shape. Okay, number one is love. Number one, we have a choice to love. We can choose to love or we can choose to hate. And you think about it, love conquers all. But what happens is that we don't love because when we don't forgive, we cannot be walking in love. Okay, and that's a process every day. We got to forgive. So, number one, that first one that we constantly make decisions about, that we constantly are going through trauma based relationships about, is what is love? Am I really in love with him or her? Am I really in love with this job? Am I really in love with my brethren, my sister, my pastor, my leader? Am I really in love? Do I really love my children? A lot of people had babies, they don't love them. I think I told my testimony. I came from a very large family, and I did not like children at all. I was very mean to children, and I bless God that He gave me two beautiful children. And when I got them, I didn't know how to give them love. I just thought they was like toys. But when God, when He taught me what love was after I had my babies, I learned how to hold them. I learned how to caress them. I learned how to nurture them. And so the second one is hate. We are reared, many of us, with a spirit, with an atmosphere of trauma-based family historical spirits that came from our generation, that came from our parents, that came from our experiences of not loving our parents, or not appreciating our parents, not honoring our parents, and for whatever reason that they did to us or hurt us. So we had this engrafted kind of spirit of hate. And when we have hate like that, what happens is that now hate will cause us to go to a whole nother dimension of these three that keeps us out of emotional fitness. See, when you hate these three that I'm giving you right now, when you hate, that means now you cannot even process love. And so emotional trauma-based relationship has caused so many of us to be so behind there, Apostle Cecilia. Good to hear you. And so I'm just saying, think about where we are. Think about where we are with hate. Think about where you are. Are you emotionally fit with hate today? Or are you emotionally fit with love? Then the third one is fear. This is the one I want to get on the area that I just talked to you about, the stats in regards to us having all these different, what the statistics talk about, mood disorders. See, a lot of relationships are traumatized because we are in a mood disorder, what we call, I guess the best word, epidemic. Because we got so many women that are dying today. So many women who are in what I call late mating relationships. So many women who are in trauma-based relationships in their childhood that they can't help themselves. And so now they don't get the help. So because they don't get the help, they're locked in the spirit of fear, the fear of failure, the fear of the unknown, shame-based fear. And so now you can't even keep a relationship. Now you can't even know how to love, your mate or your husband or those people that God has put in your life. You don't even know how to love them because of fear. The fear of failure, the fear of rejection, the fear of being touched, the fear of having to really perform true intimacy with your mate, because of the trauma-based issue that you went through as a child. So I don't want to go no further with that, but let me go ahead and talk about these areas that has caused many of us, I talk about fear, and fear is one of them. We as women and girls, for those that are talking to women ministries and things like that, hey, Tammy, we need to recognize that we have got to look at the spiritual nakedness that's causing us to be in this shape. Hey there, Tiffany. And so we women and teen girls, we got to seek and understand that we got to get the proper mentoring. We got to get the proper counsel so we can understand that clearly we need to understand that both the spiritual context and the part of where we are as far as our emotional fitness is concerned, We need to know that there's four-letter words out of these three emotions. One of them are in here, well, two of them is in here. And we got to know out of these four-letter words. I want you to write them down. Hey, Pastor Bonnie, these four-letter words, you need to know that we're emotionally stuck. And this is what we got to learn how to talk to these young girls about these four-letter words. I hope y'all write this stuff down. These four-letter words are, and these girls need to understand this because the trauma-based part of what they're going through, and I'm going to get into that in just a few minutes on that relationship. But the first one is lust. We lust for a lot of things. And, we don't think lusting for cookies is real, but it really, really is. I really lust. It's greed, it's gluttony. But I win that war because I don't bring them in no more. But let me talk to you. You got to fight for your emotional wholeness. So lust is the first four-letter word. The second one is love. I just covered it this while ago. Out of those three trauma-based issues that we all make decisions about. I told you those three just now, that we make those decisions on a daily basis, over 35,000 decisions a day. And many of us are making a decision right now, either to look at me, hey there, Prophet Regina, to make a decision to watch me or not watch me, to hear what God is saying through me, or try to see if I'm talking to you. No, I'm not talking to you. Daddy's talking to you to try to get you to understand what you need to be doing, not only for yourself, but how you can be a better example as a Titus 2 woman for the women and girls that come into your contact, so you to know how to handle them, so you can teach them how to be emotionally fit, okay? You can teach them why they keep want to be with these guys, why they want to chase these guys and women, why you want to be with a woman, why your sexual identity has been crossed up. Why is it that I want to still deal with fear? The second one of the four-letter words that we got to process and get them to understand that they need emotional fitness is pain. I talked to you yesterday about many of us dealing with pain. Now, pain is not only emotional. Pain is also physical. And many of that's my bell. That means I got to get ready to get off here. Many of us are dealing with pain, shame-based pain. Many are dealing with secret pain, pain that don't tell anybody, like depression is pain. That's an emotional pain. But do you know that depression and shame will tear the body down, tear the mind down? This is why we got so many men killing women today, because they're constantly being rejected, because a lot of them may have been on the down low, and then when they get with some woman they thought that they could feel like a man with, and they decide they're not working out, so they can't, okay, I can't get with a man, I can't get with you, so now I'm going to kill you, I'm going to kill myself. The devil has talked to them about every issue that I'm coming here right now in these four-letter words that are traumatized, not just for women, but also for the men. And so that's the fourth one, pain, emotional pain, those four-letter words. And then finally, I just said it a few minutes ago, the fourth one of the four-letter category that causes us to have trauma-based relationship is past. Now, P-A-S-T. See, many of us have a shame-based identity because of our past. Many of us don't want to recognize the relationship is not working because of our past. And so you got to know that there must be, we've got to begin now looking at, why am I feeling naked? Why am I feeling ashamed? Why am I feeling left out? Why am I feeling fear? Why am I feeling, that I just can't connect with people anymore? Why is it I feel that nobody fits my criteria to connect with? Why is it I feel that everybody got game? Everybody is, undercover. Everybody is, talking to me wrong or making me feel out of position. Let me talk to you just a few minutes about these areas in regards to what we got to look at concerning these girls. Because I could talk to a whole bunch of you that are adult, and before it's over, you'll leave here saying that was good, but you ain't doing nothing to try to go you there for. So listen to me. God is depending on us as Titus 2 women to make the impact. Today you have an opportunity. Today you held accountable because you're listening to me. You just got it on, maybe get ready for work, whatever, but you hear the sound of my voice. There's something about sound And the sound that you're hearing in me is a kingdom voice that's crying out to you in this natural world that God is saying, hear my daughter. I'm trying to show you that something needs to take place, not tomorrow, but today. Today at Walmart, today in your house, today at the cleaners, today somewhere. Many of us went to Bible study yesterday and they had no impact and they tried to impact nobody. You do the same move you do every week. Get your Bible from the back seat or out the back window sill, off the floor, dust it off, and take it to church and do the same cycle over and over again. Something going in, but ain't nothing sleeping in. It's just going in there and going right back out. Ain't no impact, ain't no transformation, not even for yourself. So how can you try to be impactful to transform somebody else? I don't want to preach, but let me go ahead and get into you about this message right here. We're talking about developmental issues. That's what emotional fitness is. Okay, developmental issues. Many of us that dealing with children and even with our own stuff, we got to know that we got to deal with these younger women. Too many of them are dying. Too many of us are allowing ourselves to sit back and watch the news and say, "Oh my God!" But it's more than that. It's greater than that. We got to do something about it. It's something small that you can do that is great in the eyes of God. And so here it is. Girls are at risk. Okay, let me go there third. Let me give you this strat and hope you will start to think about you becoming socially active as a Titus 2 woman. Okay, not tomorrow, but today. Girls are at risk. 1 in 3 high school girls will be involved in an abusive relationship. It's going on right now. They're getting beat from middle school and even elementary. You can see it. I'm going to be uploading a video to this site a little bit later on. I don't even know if I'm on the live. I don't even know if I'm on the whole family. I don't know where I'm at. I just know I just clicked on it because the thing was acting stupid. So if it's not on the whole family, I'm going to send it over there. I'm also going to upload another video because September is Suicide Prevention Month. I pray that you all will do all you can to talk to these kids when they're going through and they ain't got nobody to talk to because many of them are killing themselves. And so because September is supposed to be recognizable for suicide prevention, I don't believe in just in no holiday for no issue. I believe that we need to be fighting issues every day. Okay. Domestic violence, as far as I'm concerned, as a survivor, I believe that I'm supposed to be fighting domestic violence every day. I believe that we're supposed to be fighting issues of depression and everything else that I have described here thus far every day. Suicide, bullying, the whole nine, workplace violence. We should both be fighting that not only in the natural world, but in the area of Christendom as well, in the church house. Anyway, the next 40% of girls ages 14 to 17 know someone their age that has been hit or beaten by a boyfriend. When I have my court-based classes, these kids tell me everything to be going on in these classrooms. From the kids cussing the teachers, from the teachers showing their breasts and connecting with you, from the teachers not paying attention while they're having oral sex, little orgies in the back of the room. We need to know that we're in time right now that we have got to fight for these children. Okay, fight for these young girls who are getting STDs in their mouths while we having women conferences. I do not want to rage. Because they're not coming to the church. You better have a mini conference in your living room. I've said it over and over again. I'm going to say it over and over and over again. You better have a mini conference, a girl chat, a pillow talk with the girls in your living room. God help today. They're getting beat by these boys. They're demanding if you do me some oral sex, then I believe that you really love me. This is what we need to recognize today. Many of them will not get together with a girl today unless they can prove their love through oral sex. And many of these girls, or the parents don't know what's wrong with them because they're sick as a dog, because they got all these STDs through their mouth, and internally they're very sick. God help us all. Then teen dating violence most often takes place in the home of one of the partners. In 1995, this is an old stat, 7% of all murder victims were young women who were killed by their boyfriends. This is going on today. One of the five college females, one of five college females will experience some form of dating violence. It's going on as we speak. In a survey of 500 women ages 15 to 24, all participants had experienced violence in a dating relationship. It's going on right now. It's trauma based. It's trauma. It's rejection. We talked about that yesterday. It's fear of rejection. So you'll do whatever. So you'll stay. I stayed in that relationship because I felt rejected. I felt like I wasn't good enough. I felt like if I was feeling rejected at home, so I'm glad that maybe I got somebody that's gonna pay me some attention. And so this is the love I got. See it? That's what I got. He said real good. Trauma. Trauma-based relationship from rejection, from fear of being rejected. I latched on to the only thing I thought that would really love me, and this is what I got. This is what I got. And we're getting a whole lot of girls right today getting worse than that. Many of them are dead. I thank God that I'm alive to try to keep it real, real, real as a Titus 2 woman to help a sister out today. Anyway, it goes on to say, one study found that 38% of the date rape victims were women ages 14 to 17. And we are having women in red. Okay, 100 women in red. You better have one woman in red, and that need to be you by the blood. Sit in your living room pronouncing that the blood still works over these babies that is your daughter's friend friend in your living room before we lose this generation. Anyway, and then more than 4 in 10 incidents of domestic violence occurs involves non-married persons. True. Teens identifying as gay, lesbian, or bisexual experience the same rates of dating violence as youth involved in opposite sex dating. Now, that is so real. Many of us cannot see that because all we know is what we see through our own eyes. I think I talked about that yesterday. Let me make sure I make that statement right because I want to make sure I state it the way I said it yesterday in some fashion. Let me see if I can find my notes on that. What I said yesterday concerning what we see through our own eyes. I guess through a nutshell, it's basically saying, if you think about it, that we don't see things as they really are. That's what I said. We see things as we are. This is why we can't help nobody because we can only put in or take out, deliver out where we are. You got to come up higher in healing for your own emotional fitness so you can help somebody else. How can you help me about dealing with anger when you ain't forgave, when you still angry, when you still dealing with fear, when you still dealing with rejection and all that? So how are you going to do that? And then finally, let me get into the part that I wanted to share before I get off of here in regards to shame-based, trauma-based relationship and trouble relationships, and then I'll finish it up on tomorrow. Many of us are dealing with a lot of attachments. Many of us have attachments that have caused us, and even in sister-girlfriend relationships that's caused us to be in these places, and so we cannot function properly in having a sister girlfriend or somebody that we call our girl, meaning that our friend. Nowadays, you can't say girlfriend because now they're thinking that you don't went gay. The old saying is, that this is my girlfriend. So you can't say that no more because these are real statements. People are having girlfriends, same-sex relationships, but many of them are traumatized in this relationship. That's the reason why they're there. And so let's talk about the attachment. Many of us are insecure. That's one of the emotions that's caused us a lot of pain because of insecurity. That is an emotion that we all have. We want to feel secure. It's required for us because daddy wants to be protected. So our security comes through him. But we have this natural in our physical body that's given to us to know how to gauge that through the love of God. But what we do, we look for man. We attach onto man. And when we attach on to man, now we have this emotional attachment of an individual and not the Spirit of God. This is the reason why many of us can't have a balanced, healthy relationship. Our emotions are jacked up with physical attachments in the emotional realm with an individual that is not godly. You call that an emotional soul tie. Okay, so here we are. Those with a fearful avoidance, dismissive attachment style. That means they anticipate rejection. That means you sit back and you look for that person to reject you. So now you're going to operate out of anger and hate and bitterness and retaliation because you anticipate rejection. So you got them on this edge of let's see what you're going to do next. Therefore, this person avoid deep emotional connection. They may appear to others simply to be self-sufficient, to have an extreme degree of got it all together. But this is merely a way to avoid potential rejection. You know how to dress it up, you know how to talk it, you know how to connect, but you do not know how to have a healthy relationship. And the second one is the insecure attachment, is that these people have this anxious type of preoccupied attachment style. This means that they are desperately craving for reassurance. Do you have people who you have to always try to reassure, try to make them know that I do love you? You know, we even have kids that need that are need. They call them needy people. That you constantly in our life, we have relationships, and some of you have kids that feel so insecure for whatever reason. A lot of the stuff that we did, we have caused these traumas in these children to feel like that they are not enough or they can't live up to their siblings. So here we go. What do you plant? That's what you need to be doing in spiritual assessment for yourself. What did I do to cause my child or to cause this marriage or this relationship to not be emotionally whole? So anyway, this anxiousness is a reassurancing that they need to know that they are okay, that you are in my clique, that you are with me, that I do love you. So they constantly need this reassurances from others, but they expect frustration instead. So when they are looking for the reassurances, they think something is wrong with you when you're not treating them hard, when you're not being, giving them this spirit of frustration that's causing them to feel low or depressed or try to figure you out. Isn't that strange that this person now who you have demonstrated love to, now they're looking for you to abuse them? Lord help us today. I hope you women minister listen to me. Hi there, Evangelist Jesse. Hi there, Minister Priscilla. So glad you joined me. And so they're desperately looking for you and they expect frustration instead of love. They tend to both seek and fear emotional closeness. Like I said, they seek, hi there, Minister Michelle, they seek and they look for this emotional attachment. But when they get together with you, here they are now. Now they begin to feel that I don't think you love me. So now they feel this emotional connection. Or they begin to seek that you need to be close. And at the same time, they're telling you back up. You're too close. You're getting too touchy, too clingy. And the second part about this insecure attachment, they are now demanding, now they begin to demand, now they're demanding, get extremely anxious in the relationship, and now they're clinging to something that they're going to never be secure about. I'm going to have to stop there, y'all, because I don't want to go over. I keep going over, and it's only supposed to be 20 minutes, and here we go. I don't went more than 20 minutes, as usual. So tomorrow, I'm going to continue this. Again, I'm doing these 10 days of Titus 2, Woman, Where Art Thou? And to make sure that we talk about our emotional fitness so that we can be good delivery vessels in the spirit for those who are women ministries or those who are women, so that we can know how to mentor, so we can know how to help these hurting young women and girls. Okay, too many of them are dying. You know my story, most of you. I was emotionally traumatized as a young girl. And many of us don't want to recognize that a lot of the relationships and marriages that are dying today is because we're not dealing with our emotional fitness. We're not dealing with the things that are causing us to be in those places. Go back and listen to this tape. I talked to those today about 4 emotional areas that we're stuck in. I talked about the lust, the love, the pain, and the past. I talked about those 3 main weapons of war that the enemy uses us for that keeps us, from making the right decisions. We make all these bad decisions. And those 3 emotional fitnesses that we need to look at continuously, that we need to teach, that we need to look into, is the love, the hate, and the fear. And I'm praying in Jesus' name today, Father, that they've heard me, that they are going to make the right decision, that they're going to go ye therefore today. They're going to realize what you said to us today concerning your text in our devotion today, that you're everywhere. You'll never leave us. You'll never forsake us. We think that you're going to direct us and showing us how to be emotionally fit and how to help those, how to help them shape in your spirit their emotions of love and hate, and to see how not to hate based on your word, and to see what fear is supposed to do. We need these emotions. We need to hate evil. We need to hate fear. We need to teach love. And so, Father, I plead your blood over every vessel that's listening to me now, whether it's a woman, man, boy, or girl. And I release the anointing of emotional fitness over you now. I speak healthiness to your love. I speak strength to your love. I speak that your love will pour over today to some soul, that they will no longer hate, that they will no longer send harm and bloodshed, and that they will no longer be afraid, because fear is not of you, that you have given them love, peace, and of a sound mind. In Jesus' name. I pray that you have a wonderful day. If you got any questions for me, please type those in before I get off of here so that I can get over here. And don't forget to get off YouTube Live. Y'all see me on YouTube trying to fix this hair wig or whatever you want to call it. Trying to look a little halfway decent for y'all today. Anyway, anybody got any questions or comments you want to share with me today? Or if there's anything you'd like me to talk about that I have not covered here so far in this emotional fitness series that I'm doing for these 10 days. That's leading up to September 6th will be the 10th day. It's the day that I was shot. I try to do this every year to be able to help women and young girls to know it is not God's will that you go there, that you sell yourself short. Amen. We are beautifully and wonderfully made, and Daddy God wants to prove that to you, sister, if you only believe. But many of us can't believe because we stuck in those four areas that I talked about earlier on. This caused us so much trauma and pain. Okay. Anybody got any questions or comments for me before I get off here? Anybody? You got nothing to say? Nothing? Okay, y'all typing, I hope, saying something. Y'all share this message, okay? I hope you're sharing this with some of these young girls. You know that's evangelism when you do that. I'm not trying to get no numbers. I'm trying to impact souls. Okay. Why don't you send it to a sister you know being challenged? Why don't you send it to a pastor or a women ministry auxiliary leader? Send it to somebody so they can understand what trauma is doing to these young women and women who are even elders today. We've got elders sleeping with these young men that's packing all kinds of diseases because they're lonely. I don't want to get into that yet. Are you really, really going to send this out and help me to help impact lives in your group today? All right, be sure and look sometime, maybe like the 1st, 2nd of September. I'm going to upload a very important message on the family and friends of challenged minds. Be sure and tell those that get on here, even though this is a little longer, to always fast forward to the main meat of the matter. Okay. And I want you to make sure that you get on there on Family and Friends of Challenged Mind so that you can see the video and the message that I'm going to upload in regards to bullying and the issue of suicide with these children today. These kids are finding a way to kill themselves. This is a whole other subject that we have got to have in the living room. That's going to be your conference room, your living room, or even your kitchen. Love you so much. We'll talk soon. Thanks for joining me, y'all. I'll see y'all in the morning. Love you. Please pray for this computer. God bless you. And turn the other ones off. Be sure and share this message. Love you.